We'll get it fixed, because I know you had something you wanted to ask, didn't you, Thierry?
Yeah.
We'll get back there, I'm sure, in a few. Ashraf Hakimi, been on the show now in the first leg.
He works for us.
I know, I think so. Maybe we should offer him some kind of official role.
Who's got the most appearances, him or Thuram?
It's close.
What are we on, 40?
Oh, yeah.
What? You think Marcus has got more?
Must have, but it's because we had 3 times Ashraf, like, in the last 3 shows.
Look at Paris there. That's incredible, isn't it?
No, it is. Look,
Thierry, tell me about the support. We see, Michael said there about the atmosphere. We saw the scenes at the end. You said to me before it's a great atmosphere, only Marseille sort of betters it in France. We talk about Anfield and Borussia Dortmund, the Yellow Wall. I mean, is Paris sort of not given the recognition as a sort of fan base that other supporters are in Europe?
I would say that overall in France, I'll be honest with you, you go to Lens, you will have an amazing atmosphere. You go to Marseille, Saint-Etienne, a lot of teams I'm not going to. But yes, Paris Saint-Germain, the stadium is just magical. Parc des Princes is not supposed to be when you look at it because the stands are far. Normally you lose a bit of the authenticity of a football stadium. But the Parc des Princes is magical. I've seen amazing teams there. You guys all know that I'm from the suburb of Paris, so I used to go and watch the Paris Saint-Germain before there. And at one point they were dominant. They had a bit of problems. You know, it wasn't at times safe to go and watch the game at the Parc des Princes. So you have to give also, since the Qatari arrived, you have to give them a lot of credit because they made it a safe place, a place that is really recognized, a place that, you see the Paris Saint-Germain shirt everywhere. If I was in New York the other day, I saw the Paris Saint-Germain shirt everywhere. And now they're in a position to win the Champions League. The only team that wouldn't like that is Marseille. That's the only team. As a French guy, obviously, they knocked Arsenal out. I am upset and I'm sad about that. But, I'm also happy that Paris Saint-Germain can be in a situation where they can... that they can bring another star, you will say, for French football, because in our history, we only have one, which is really poor. So hopefully they can do that, but you have to give this man that we see, because I'm looking at the screen on the other side, Luis Enrique, the way he built that team and what they did, how they changed the community, having that youth, that young team also, the fans can relate and see themselves in that team. So well done, Paris Saint-Germain, and let's see what's going to happen. I just wanted to ask Hakimi, because Hakimi won the league with Inter. It's going to be a special game for him.
Well, we're trying to get that sorted. We'll hopefully go back to him. Hopefully he'll still be there. But yes, it is now official. We know what the final looks like. PSG and Inter Milan will be at the Champions League final on Saturday, May 31st. And the incredible news, so too will our team. Be sure to join Thierry, Jamie, Big Meats, myself and the entire crew live from Munich for the build-up to the biggest game in club football. We're excited for this one. We're going to bring you all the atmosphere, in-depth analysis, special surprises and lots of fun as only we can. Special surprise. Obviously continue with the highlights in a few, but we want to jump out right now because we want to take you back over to Paris with Peter and Micah and a very special guest. We are very excited to welcome to the show. Always a pleasure. The president, Nasser Al-Khelaifi.
My best friend! Before we start, how does that feel? Please.
Stressful, almost heart attack. But yeah, no, I mean, it's a great feeling to be at the final. After a long season, tough season, we just our objective to qualify from the group stages. People forgot that we had 4 points, 3 matches. We have to win all the 3 matches. Losing against City here 2-0. And, to come back, then we have Salzburg, we have Stuttgart. So it's really tough draw, tough matches. The team been progressing, but always we had the good faith, honestly, in our coach and our players, and our fans, amazing fans here, especially at home. So, you're coming from almost group stages, out of group stages to the final.
That's incredible. Just think about that in January. Now you have 2 games left in the group stage. It was up against it. Did you ever at that point imagine that you were going to be standing here now, the president of one of the clubs in the Champions League final?
To be honest, I never thought or think about the final that time. Just I want to qualify to the group stage. I want to play the playoff. And this was our objective. Our objective this year was match by match. Honestly, if you tell me our objective to be in the final. Not at all. But today, I mean, you know, we are here in the final. One match to go, so it's an amazing feeling, and you know, we have just one match to go.
You must be happy how the managers delivered and improved this team.
Absolutely, you know, even when I say the 3 matches before with 4 points we could get out, I promise you we're never gonna change anything in the project, and we're gonna continue exactly what we're doing because we believe in our plan and we're sticking in our plan, whatever result. Today, last match against Aston Villa or Liverpool, it will be exactly the same because we believe in our coach and we believe in our players and our talented, young, hungry players. Run like crazy.
You know, never before in the history of the Champions League has a team in a semi-final who had the average age of under 25 years gone through the final. And you have, I think you have 24 years and 261 days.
Correct. I mean, it's, you know...
That's your project.
Absolutely. You know, young, hungry players that really, they work for the team, they fight for the team, they really go... I mean, you know, they die for the jersey. That's the most important for the city, for the club. And this is what you see them. I mean, you know, today you see them like, you know, all of them could die in the pitch today. And to be honest, this is...
Fortunately, they didn't.
You know, they didn't, thanks God. But really, I mean, you know, proud. Exactly, but proud.
I think Terry's got a question.
Coach, how are you, Coach?
President,
We miss you, Titi.
I'm good, but I don't have a question. I actually want to give you your respect. I would say why. Being French, I know what you came under, the pressure that you came under, and you know this town is not one that is a nice one when things are not going well. And I have to say that you always conducted yourself really well. You listened to what was missing. We talked about it. I think that team at the time that had to go young. I was mentioning people, more local players. You guys went another way, but it doesn't really matter. When you went to get Luis Enrique, I said to you, you got a proper coach. He doesn't mess around. You will see. But I wanted to say thank you because you changed the way people see Paris Saint-Germain. When I was growing up, it wasn't the case. You change everything, the community, people can go and watch the game well at the Parc des Princes. It wasn't the case always in the history. So hopefully you can make the next step and bring another star. I know they won't like it in Marseille, but it is what it is. I will like it. You know, I did text you. It's my team that you knocked out, but I want Paris Saint-Germain to win the Champions League because that will seal what you've done and the way you've done it, and you put Paris back on the map. So well done, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach. And this words, it's a lot to us, especially from legend like you and Arsenal ex-players. But I know you're French, and you know here in France it's really important. Today we fight for not just Paris Saint-Germain, for France, for the league, for Liga, for the clubs here, for the young, talented in Paris, around Paris. I think this is the message that whenever you have a dream, make it true. But I'll say, repeat exactly what I said. There's still one match to go. Still, we are not done.
Well, Thierry's got your number. Can I have your number?
Of course.
Thank you very much. No. Thanks for coming out.
President.
Thank you guys. Go and enjoy the party. And please, from all of us from CBS, wish the whole team congratulations.
Michael, give him your number. Big Meeks, give him your number.
Give me a hug, sir. Give me a hug.
No, hey,
Thank you so much. Oh, guys, seriously, what a class act he is.
Just left without giving you his
I've
number,
had a
Michael.
great time out here. It's been marvellous.
Keep it as a souvenir.
Oh, yeah, he said he's going to give me it later on. Don't worry about that.
Did you not get it? I just got it.
Has he got it?
No, I got his business card. And said, don't give it to Michael.
That's his personal assistant. That's not his number.
Are you going to enjoy the celebrations tonight? Big Meeks? You with the Paris fans before the game? You're going to be with them after the game?
Me, Jamie.
Who's the fella behind?
I think the guy behind you wanted to be on the show.
I'll be drowning my sorrows tonight, Jamie. You know.
You look disappointed.
What do you mean drowning your sorrows? You were supporting PSG all the way through.
Anyway, back in the studio, have you missed me tonight or what? Have you missed me? Have you missed the energy? How was the whole show tonight?
We've been with
Give me
Beckham and
some
friends all
information, guys.
night.
What's
We've had a
happening?
great time.
Who was in there,
Look,
Jamie?
son, you didn't even say anything.
I've had your wine, Big Meeks.
Ooh!
Just-
I'll be whining tonight, don't you worry about that, Jamie.
Yeah.
Micah, are you going to the hotel cost?
Ooh, I might have a little pass through, Peter, if you fancy it.
You never know.
You never know, huh?
Never know. Oh, but we, hey,
Oui, huh?
we've already had one party here. We've already had one party here. We might as well go for the next one.
Why not? Why not?
Guys, we haven't really got a chance to hear your thoughts on the game so far, obviously, because we had the mic issues. You were with Ashraf Hakimi, then you were with the president. What about your thoughts?
So it was really an interesting game. I thought Arsenal were absolutely fantastic in the first 20 minutes. They gave it everything, and it was really only because of the brilliance of Donnarumma that it stayed 0-0. It was. And then, of course, PSG scored, changed the run of the game. But, I mean, Arsenal gave it a good go, I have to say that.
They had to give it a good go, but I think the better team won. I think on that transition, in terms of energy, if you look at PSG's front three, they just had so much more pace. I thought at times when Saka or Odegaard got the ball, they took too long on the ball. And you know what the Champions League is about moments. How many times have we said on the show about moments? When Arsenal was on top in that first 20 minutes, they didn't take the chances, they didn't put the game to bed, and then PSG get their moment, and look what happened.
But they did create the chances, and you wonder if Arsenal are where Man City was a couple of years back when they didn't have a striker and they were coming short in this tournament because they didn't score enough goals. And, you know, okay, they scored today, but they were more than 6.5 game in semi-finals where they haven't scored, you know? And you need guys to put the easy one. Saka had a chance right after he scored.
They also missed the penalty though as well.
Yeah,
so
but that was fine because that was never a penalty.
I think if you look at it and
that would have ruined the game.
The game, I think PSG were the better team over two legs. Arsenal give it a good go. I think the game was lost in the first leg. I think the miss of Thomas Partey in that first leg, and then today they had to go a little bit for the game, got caught out of positions at times. But I think in the end the quality shone through, and PSG were the better team and they deserve to be in the final.
Yeah, I think when Nasser talked about his project, you know, the project was absolutely fantastic, getting rid of all the Galacticos stars, bring in the young, hungry players. And when we started to look at this team closely in January, when they beat Man City or got through Man City, you know, from that point on, they, for some reason, just became, for me, best team in Europe, and they're in the final and they really deserve to be in the final.
Did you have them in your brackets in the final?
I don't have anyone left in the bracket from the quarterfinals and onwards.
You've had a disaster.
I've had a disaster.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We want to, of course, release you into the Paris night to go and enjoy yourselves.
Bye.
Don't have too much fun. Hotel cost, we'd like to see the pictures from over there. Nice meal, glass of wine, I'm sure, Micah.
Enjoy, Big Meeks.
Have a wonderful
If it
time.
can't be good, be
I
careful.
will, don't you worry.
Don't be good.
I'm big for a reason, you know that.
No, Jamie, no.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, guys. Sorry, I thought, all types of confusion. I guess I'd just like to pick up on that point that you were making with the president, with Nasser Al-Khelaifi, about the culture of PSG, essentially, is what we were talking about, and how he's changed their identity. What kind of team do you now see PSG as, and what are the ills that he's managed to solve?
Look, you have to, and I said it, you have to understand, when Paris Saint-Germain doesn't win, it's chaotic. It's the hope of the whole league. By the way, thanks to Paris Saint-Germain, that people know what's happening in Ligue 1. Let's all be honest, not disrespecting anyone in the league. Everything looks good. The shirts look good. The whole equipment look good. You can go, and I know, and I said it to him when I was young. Going to the Parc des Princes was a challenge, for a reason that I won't mention here because it's too long. But they made it like a family. place to go. One place to go that people like to see. Only thing that they were missing now is to finish like little touch. That's what you need to do when you have a good house and you go like, now we need to do this. We need to make it better here and better there. And when I was working on French TV before, I said it live on air. This is why I said that to him. And some people didn't like it. I was like, you gotta go young. You gotta go young if you want to achieve something. It needs to be a project that's going to be a long-term project, not buying players that are good, by the way, and then buying after 2 years again, and then after 2 years again, and 2 years again. And you know what? Like I said, they put Paris Saint-Germain back on the map. Still one game to go, like he said. But from my Paris Saint-Germain that I've seen when I was way younger to a good one from the Ginola, Valdo, Weah, Ricardo. I'm not going to name everybody because they had so many great players, and even before in the history. It's just like nice to see that it's a place that you can go and watch a game safely, that the community is on board. The only thing that was missing recently is the connection from the fans to the players, something that you have in Liverpool, where the community it's much more than what you do, guys, on the field. It's also that togetherness that was missing a bit in Paris, and they have that this year. You can see that the fans can relate to the team and they believe what the team is doing. All you want at the end of the day is a team that's going to fight, right? Regardless of what it is. We can talk about tactic, we can talk about individuals. When you see Kvaratskhelia running like he did off the ball, it's just outstanding. What he did in the last minute of the game, and we're going to talk about it, moments, the 2 goals up on aggregate. He didn't try to be the star. He brought the ball back to the corner flag, lost a couple of minutes, because he knows that's what it takes to go to a final of the Champions League, although it was 2 goals up. Barcelona didn't. We're going to talk about it.
Yes, well, you mentioned we're going to talk about it. We do have
exactly how this happened, because one thing that is quite interesting about this game is this is the most amount of shots, 20, that PSG have conceded at home in all competitions all season, and that is so impressive and perhaps says something about the way that Arsenal went after this game, Jack.
Yeah, I think that's credit to them. It's clear what type of game they wanted. They wanted to be on the front foot. They wanted to be aggressive from the start. But you can see with all them shots and only 4, maybe 5 on target, it's the finishing quality. At this level, you need it.
You're an Arsenal fan watching at home, Martin. Are you proud of the way they went after it? Are you frustrated with the way they approached the game? What do you think?
I think both, really. I don't think they would have been surprised, some of the fans, because in front of goal, it's been tricky. Obviously since February, where you've lost Havertz, Jesus was already injured. I think it was a gallant performance tonight. Definitely can be proud of that, but it's about being more clinical in front of goal. And that's either that's another player, or they find another way to score goals. But tonight, that's an area where we were sadly lacking, really, when it really came down to it.
There were so many chances so early on. They'll look at that back and think, oh my goodness, if only one of those had gone in, it could have changed the complex of the whole game.
You're right, Laura. You just need one to fall your way. And obviously they don't have that striker. And Kai Havertz done a brilliant job filling in there. But if you think about when the moments came for PSG, they won them. Donnarumma made big saves. And I thought Arsenal, credit Mikel, he had a game plan at the beginning of the game. Long balls, crosses, throw-ins, and they actually dominated the game. But they needed a goal to show for it, Laura. Against the run of play, PSG got a goal. And then I think that changed the momentum of the game. But before the game, I said to Mikel about second balls. It's such a little thing, but you know what? In this game, it adds up. The first goal is the second ball, header from Partey, you win the second one. And the second goal is the same. So, and again, it feels like a little thing. It's a poor heading from Partey. He's got to head it back. But that second ball, you've got to win that, Laura, in your box. And then you allow a player like Ruiz there who takes the touch. It's just these moments add up, Jack, in the game. And I just thought they went against Arsenal today.
He's out of position, Martinelli, and he's recognised it a little bit too late, and then he can't slow down. Ruiz is a good player. He's recognised it. He wants to get on his strong foot, and then he gets a little bit of luck, but he's made that.
How difficult for Raya as well. Such a big deflection, as you're saying, off the back of Saliba.
Yeah, to be honest, I think the goalkeeper was beat anyway. I know he gets a deflection, but that's hitting the back of the net. It's a remarkable. It was really patient as well from Ruiz. He lets it run across his body. Martinelli's a little bit naive. He's trying to get across, but the header really kills everyone. He's got to head that out front of the corner and reset.
Talking about second balls, you mentioned it as well for the second goal. Jack, why don't you talk us through this one for Hakimi?
Yeah, this is what we were talking about half time. That pass there, you don't have to make that pass. That's what they want. They want you to pass it inside, and now look at them start to run. They've got players that can carry the ball like that and give time for other players to get in the box. And then they have quality in these areas. Partey maybe can be a little bit more aware of that situation. But then, it all comes from Arsenal making a mistake they didn't have to make.
But you know what? One thing I would say, Laura, the two fullbacks, the two best in the competition. Hakimi's got 3 goals, 5 assists in this competition. Mendes has got 4 and 2. That means you're getting 14 goals and assists from your fullbacks with a world-class goalkeeper and a world-class front three and a balance in midfield. So this PSG team is proper, and I think they showed it today.
Hakimi, I mean, more touches than any other player. He's scoring again, 3 shots on target. You know, it's incredible. He's a right back, and he's got more touches than anybody else on the pitch. It just says it all.
Picked up man of the match tonight as well.
Yeah, and I think that's why the first goal for Arsenal was so important, because then it became a game where PSG could wait for their moments, and when you're chasing a goal and you become a little bit more expansive and your distances become big, then when you're playing against good players, they're going to hurt you, and unfortunately they did that.
Martin, the Arsenal goal did come eventually from Saka. Would you like to take us through this? Because at this point in the game, you're thinking, wow, have they got enough time?
Well, I mean, to be honest, fair play to Trossard, because he keeps going. You know, Marquinhos just dives, and the referee plays on, which we didn't see a lot of in the first tie, if I'm honest. And then they get a little bit lucky, but I didn't think there was a foul. I thought he dived, and he puts that ball into the danger. It's a lucky deflection, but then fair play to Saka, keeps going. And really, I mean, it's the only way to beat this goalkeeper when he's actually, he hits the deck, and he's out of the way of it, and then he can just roll it in. And then you wondered then, that second chance came, didn't it, shortly after that? And if he could have put that away, we might have had a different tie.
Credit as well to the subs, because for this chance that you're going to see in a second as well, Saka's next chance that he didn't manage to put in the back of the net, it was both of the subs that came off the bench to create those.
But you know what as well, I think it was really tricky against Mendes because he's such a brilliant defender. When Saka came inside, he was brilliant, and he created a couple of massive moments. This one maybe just takes his eye off it. Maybe Donnarumma puts him off, but tackle it, head it, let it hit anywhere. That needs to go in. If that goes in, Laura, wow, what a finish we're going to have. But it just didn't go their way in the big moments which they needed to.
What did you think watching that, Martin?
Yeah, it was painful. It was painful, and it will hurt Saka, and he won't be sleeping for 2 or 3 nights. But, you know, I think he can be proud of what he offered tonight. He was causing major problems for Mendes early booking. We didn't see a lot of him in an attacking sense tonight because of Saka on the pitch.
I know, Jack, like they won't be feeling it now, and there's always a question to say, what do they learn from getting this far in the competition? And, you know, will they come back stronger next season? But do you think genuinely Arsenal as a team are getting closer and closer to something?
Yeah, I do, and I know that the fans and the people at home will be frustrated with this, and probably frustrated with me saying it, but I do, and it is another step, and of course, like where we were, I mean, there was probably 4 or 5 years where we didn't qualify for the Champions League, and that was really tough. And Mikel came in, and you know, he had to build something from almost from the start, and get rid of players and bring some players in. And I think, as I said before, when you look at PSG, is probably a good example. They haven't won it in ages, and it feels like it's probably their time now. And as frustrating it is for us Arsenal fans, it's unfortunately we're probably going to have to go through that process.
They can't do it for too long or keep doing it like this, because they don't want to become the nearly team that always misses out. Second place in the Premier League again and again, semi-finals of Champions League. I mean, some teams would bite your hand off for that, but do they need more?
I think it's a bit unfair on Arsenal. I still think they're a young team. I think they're developing. I think they progressed from last year when they went out against Bayern. I think they've improved dramatically this year. They're missing 2 of their best players, Kai Havertz and Gabriel, and they need a striker. So if you look at the depth of the other semi-finalists, they got way more depth and opportunity to rotate players. I think Arsenal, Jack made a great point, how hard it was for City and PSG to win this Champions League. It's hard. There's a lot of great teams with bigger budgets than Arsenal. But this summer, you'd love to see the club going back, Mikel, and bring in a striker, or maybe bring in another one. Because I think goal-scoring wise, I think they're 19 less than Liverpool. That's a big difference. They're this close, but they need to invest to get the players to help them make that final step.
Yeah. Okay, let's get some reaction with a PSG fan. Jules is speaking with Reshmin Chowdhury now.
Laura, thank you. Yeah, he is our French football expert, but he is a PSG super fan. And do you know what? I can confirm, you didn't actually breathe up in the gantry when we were watching until Hakimi scored. How do you feel now? Deep breath.
Better. I could not even sit down, to be fair. I had to stand up the whole game. It was tough because Arsenal made it tough for PSG, and we said before the game, all of us, that games it was fine margins in the first leg, same in the second leg. Maybe Arsenal lose this tie in the first 15 minutes at the Emirates and in the first minutes tonight, because they could have been 2-0 up today, really. Yeah. And I think this is those moments that the boys were talking about as well, where you have to take your chance, and if you let it go, then you get punished.
But you didn't get punished. You didn't let it go. You are through to the final. Tell me, what does it mean for this club? It's the second final now, isn't it? The last one was behind closed doors in 2020, and of course you didn't win it. But you're there now. How much does this mean for this group of players and for this club that's waited so long for something like this?
It's always been the holy grail, really. Even back in the 90s when David Ginola, who's here for French television, was playing, they came close twice and 2 semi-finals in a row, but never got over the line. And then there was that final, you're right, in 2020. Behind closed doors, where it's the Mbappe and Neymar team, the variety team, and Thomas Tuchel on the bench, and Bayern with maybe just a little bit too clinical for PSG. We're still learning. This is a different story. It's a different team. It's a young team. It's Luis Enrique's team. It's his birthday tomorrow. He's 55. 10 years ago, he won it with Barcelona, and maybe this is the year, but still, you saw today how they were rattled. Same at Villa Park, and they will face the oldest team, the most experienced team is this competition in Inter Milan, and it won't be easy, but I think they all believe that this could be their year.
And this is the thing, I mean, you mentioned Luis Enrique, he won the treble. PSG are on for a treble this season.
They are. Which, for such a young team, really, today the average age is 24.7. You know, Dembele, well, apart from Dembele and Marquinhos, really, the others are below the age of 26. So for them to win the league, this is a given. The French Cup final is May 24th, but the big one will be this one at the end of the month.
Now you got to tell me, can you win it?
Yeah, of course. I think over one game, this team is so good that they can beat anybody. But I think they will have to learn a lot from what happened tonight. And then they will fancy their chances because they should. They've been probably in 2025 the best team in Europe.
You know, we need to let you, Jules, just leave here and just forget about work and just finally enjoy what is happening and actually go out and celebrate in this beautiful city of Paris, because look at that, you are through to the Champions League final. Laura, back to you.
Yeah, Jules has got
The journey ends here tonight. What are your initial thoughts after that?
Well, first of all, congratulate PSG for reaching the final. The assessment, I will make it when I'm a little bit cooler, but the feedback that I got straight away from their bench is that we were much better than them. When you look at the 2 games, who's been their best player on the pitch, he's been their goalkeeper. He's made a difference for them in the tie, and I think we were very close, much closer than our results showed, but unfortunately we are out. I'm very proud of the players, what we've done today, the way we started, how we handled the pressure, the amount of pressure. After 20 minutes it should be 3-0. But there is something extra that you need in the competition to go your way, and it didn't.
Are you proud of the fact that it's the second season in the Champions League, quarterfinals, semi-finals? What ultimately might get you over the line potentially next season?
I'm upset, and we should not be. Yeah, we were very close. Yes, for long periods of both games, we were much better than them. But we are not there, and that has to hurt. And if we want to win this competition and go there, we need to realize that. And there are certain things that are on us, and you shouldn't be just understanding that we are out. It's not the way I look at it.
Are you happy, or have you seen enough progress with your team this season?
100%. I don't think there's been a better team in the competition so far, what I've seen. But we are out tonight. We deserve much more, I think, in both games. But this competition is about the boxes, and in the boxes there are normally the strikers most of the time and a goalkeeper, and he was the best player in both games.
Ultimately, what do you want to do over the summer to make changes or add to get further?
I'm so proud of the boys, and what they deserve a lot of credit for what they're doing in the context and the situation, and with the amount of injuries. We have arrived here probably in the worst state that you can arrive as a team. You have to get here with everybody fit, available, with a lot of minutes, with rest, like they had a week. We come here in a completely different context and still do that. So that gives me a lot of positivity for the future. But tonight I'm very upset.
And Mikel, thank you for talking to us anyway.
And it'll sting for a while. Martin, he talks about the progression that they've made, that he's happy with that. Where do you stand on Arsenal's progression?
Well, to be honest, I agree with a lot of what the manager said there tonight about being proud with the group. There was a lot of pressure on them those first 15 minutes. They really took the game to their opponent, just weren't clinical enough. That's where they failed, really. But I think the journey that they're on, I think he's putting the pieces together in this jigsaw piece. It's a long, winding road. It's not a straight path to success. And I know what that feels like. And he's talked before this game tonight about the hurt, anger, and using it as energy into tonight's game. They did that. And that's what they're going to have to build upon for next season. I was in an Arsenal team that went 3 seasons second best to Manchester United, disappointments in major cup finals. Okay, this is almost like a cup final here. They've got to bounce back and make sure that they build from there. It's a foundation to build from now, but obviously recruitment is key to that. You know, we look at this team here tonight, that they bought Kvaratskhelia in January for £80 million, and they made a statement, and look how important he's been to them. So, you know, I think Arsenal got caught on the hop a little bit with the injuries that they had, but I think they've done well with the players he's at his disposal. I think they've gone a hell of a long way in this tournament.
What was it you think took your team over the line?
Belief. This won't happen to us again. It hurt. We'll find a way to be successful, and we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to go and do that. But you have to stick together right now. You know, it's about tying down these players, the likes of Saliba, keep him at the football club. This is the back four that Arsenal have got. Okay, Gabriel not available. Some of the best defenders in Europe. So it's a look at the positives. Declan Rice been going from strength to strength. You know, it's certain areas of the pitch. It's not massive jobs here to put the icing on the cake for Arsenal to be successful.
Jack, you praised how good a coach Mikel Arteta is, and knowing him from playing and also his time in coaching, and you learning a little bit and being inspired by him. But has he had enough support in terms of the hierarchy above him, giving him the right players or giving him the right sort of budget for it?
Well, we've definitely spent some money. Maybe we could have spent more. I think a big thing is the injuries, honestly, Laura. And I know people will say, oh, that's an excuse. It's not an excuse, it's a fact. Owen mentioned earlier about Milan having the possibility to make changes. Barcelona brought on Lewandowski off the bench to try and find something. So, of course, it makes a difference. They have to find a way to be able to keep these players fit for the whole season and be able to make them compete. I see a lot of similarities with what Martin's saying with his team. And you know, I played in a team that was, for years and years, was questioned of lack of leadership, and probably rightly so. We didn't have the leaders in Martin's group, and we probably didn't have the leaders that this group has now. And I think that's how the answer to your question before, how they bounce back, is they need them leaders. They need to make sure that this hurts, and they understand what they did wrong, and they try and make it better next year.
Yeah, one of those leaders in the team is obviously Declan Rice. Let's get some reaction, because Becky Ives is speaking to him now.
Dec, simply, do you have the words right now?
Yeah, look, it's gutting. Such a dominant start. You know, if you score one of them chances, probably in the first 15, 20 minutes, the game completely changes on his head. And then just the small margins in football, you know, 2 mistakes from us, 2 goals for them, and obviously with the chances we'd missed, it just felt like it wasn't meant to be. You know, we give it absolutely everything. In this competition, you're either in or you're out, and over the 2 legs, we could have scored some. Well, 3 or 4 goals, to be honest with you, but Donnarumma's been unbelievable, and you got to look at the small margins. It just obviously wasn't meant to be.
Quarter-finals last year, semi-finals this year. Next year, what does get this over the line?
Yeah, look, in life, in general, I think sometimes you have to lose a few in order to win, and you have to overcome some of these setbacks to mentally grow and grow as a person and as a player and as a group. And I think we're going through that stage at the minute after a few losses in terms of losing out in the league, coming close in the Champions League back-to-back years. So look, we're growing as a team, as people, but we need to keep pushing and keep believing. You know, this is why we play this sport. There's going to be setbacks along the way. PSG have obviously gone through tonight. We're absolutely gutted, but this isn't going to define us for sure. You know, we're going to be back, and when we get our players back, they've been out for a very long time. We're going to be a much stronger outfit, so we've got to keep going.
Do you think ultimately not having the full squad when you get to this point in a competition is actually a bit of a game changer?
Yeah, it's tough. We've done the whole season without 5 or 6 of our best players, and to be where we are and to do what we've done has been unbelievable. Fully stand by that. In the end, you know, the group of players that have gone out there have given it absolutely everything. The whole squad has, even the players that flew over with us tonight that have been injured, every staff member. And everyone fully believed, and I think you could see that from the first whistle, how much we believed we could win and go out there and put on a performance. And like you said, on another night, we maybe scored 2 or 3 tonight. It was just that first 20 minutes where they score, and we obviously had them chances where we didn't score. It was a real kick in the teeth. So, yeah, we'll assess it. We'll be back, and 3 games left. It's been a really long season. We really, really wanted this one. But yeah, we'll keep pushing, because this is why we play this sport. You know, we want to win, and we want to do the best we can.
For you and that dressing room, you're in it every day. What's it like coming up so close each season and just not quite nailing that trophy, which is what ultimately everybody wants?
Yeah, we're all desperate for it. You know, that's why we play football. That's why we play this game. You know, we want to win trophies. We want to be at the pinnacle of football, winning stuff. But like I said, obviously, for whatever reason, these last 2 years in the cup competitions in the Premier League, it hasn't been meant to be. You know, we've been really, really close. It's obviously not good enough because Arsenal are a club that deserve to be winning trophies and deserve to be pushing. And there's not a lot more we can really be doing. But like I said, sometimes in life you have to go through these small losses in order to win big, and that's what a lot of these big superstars have done in the past. You know, they've all suffered defeats to then come out on top, and I'm sure this group will, because it hurts. You see the boys in there, you see the manager. Yeah, it's tough. It's a semi-final. We wanted to be in Munich, and it's obviously not meant to be, but it doesn't define us, like I said, and we'll be back for sure.
Thank you.
Indumentaria, la Kings Limited Gold Edition. Solo hay 50 unidades de todos los equipos y también puede ser vuestra entrando en kingsleague.pro. Así que es los datos a tener en cuenta en cuanto a indumentarias. Gran partido, Gonzalo, Gerard, el que tenemos por delante.
Ojo, ojo, estilo La Bombonera, estadio de River.
Hostia, más minutos de retraso en el inicio, ¿eh? Ya tenemos lío.
Lo llamó Edo, dibujando la parábola sobre la banda derecha, donde en el vértice del área aparece Nadir. ¡Nadir para adentro! ¡Gol! De Nadir Lua, que tiene una facilidad pasmosa. Encuentra a Pablo, qué balón para Nadir para el segundo. Se tafa de Cócera, es un golazo. ¡Es un golazo! Señoras, señores, bienvenidos al show de Nadir Lua. Pibe.
El mejor.
Vamos
haciendo espionaje, ¿eh?
Vaya mierda dado, pibe. Va, ya te puedes ir a la cúpula a comer, va.
Tiene que salir Cócera para entregar hacia el centro. Se la regala a Coy, le puede pegar Coy para adentro.
Vaya chicha, nano.
¡Gol! De Porcinos Óscar Coy. Ah, pues sí.
Tony, tienes brazalete con él.
Pero es que, señores,
que no te lo dije, Romero.
Tenemos, comodín, ¿cómo lo usamos? Penalti.
Penalti.
Será penalti.
Vamos, Cuni.
Puede meter en el partido a Cuni. Jordi para adentro, ¡qué golazo!
¡Wow!
¡Dios!
¡Gol! Vamos con Nadir Lua y con Laura Vizcaíno.
Pues sí, Nadir, 2 goles, victoria y a cuartos, enhorabuena.
Sí, sabíamos que el partido iba a ser muy importante porque veníamos de una muy mala dinámica. El equipo ha estado bien, sufríamos defensivamente y creo que hemos estado muy juntitos. Y nada, primer objetivo cumplido.
Os espera Science, rival complicado, imagino.
Sí, empatamos contra ellos y en shootout perdimos. Ha quedado segundo por algo. Nada, concentración, confianza con nosotros mismos y intentar ganar para el sábado estar en el Wizzing.
Os lo veremos mañana, mucha suerte.